Hey guys! So I know it has again been forever since I filmed a video, basically I think a month I want to say, and I do have a pretty legit excuse this time. I left my camera at home when I went at the beginning of this month, and I didn't get it back till last weekend when my parents came down here, so I've been cameraless and I couldn't really film. I guess I could have filmed on my iPod, but when I've tried that, the quality sucks, and it can't store that long because I've got, like, my iTunes is full, so it doesn't, like, hold very much room. So I just kind of had to wait it out for my camera, and yeah, but I thought I'd make this up to you by giving you guys a very large book haul. I have, like, so many books that I'm cutting this into, like, a two-part haul because I've been collecting these, I believe, since, like, the beginning of November. So all these books have just been sitting here accumulating, and I just haven't had time to do a haul with them yet. So I'm going to record the other haul right after this. So it will be up probably towards the end of the month so that there's a little time between these hauls because they are going to be very large. So yeah, alright, so enough of my rambling. I will hurry and get to the haul. I'll just try to give a really brief, like, this is what it is type thing, because if I go too long in the synopsis, this video will take forever. Alright, so I will just start off with the sequels that I have purchased. I've got 4, it looks like, and I've got Deadly Little Voices and Deadly Little Lessons. I believe this is the 4th and 5th book. I think it's the 4th and 5th, yeah. In the Touch series, I've been reading it, so I can't really give you guys too much about these because it would spoil the rest. So these are just sequels. The next book I got is Crossed by Ali Condi. I read Matched and I ended up loving it. I was kind of skeptical to read it and I ended up just really liking it, so I went ahead and purchased the second book. And the last sequel I got is Shift by Jerry Smith Reddy. This is the sequel to Shade that I read. I can't remember if I did a review on that one or not, but I've talked about it enough, so if you guys really want to know, I've talked about it in, like, wrap-ups and such. So I plan to read this. I'm a little skeptical because everyone says the series just kind of goes down after the first book, so I plan to read this in the near future, but it's not high up on my list right now. Alright, the next book I got is Warm Bodies by Isaac Marion. My goal was to have this read by the time the film came out, and I was going to go see it. It is currently, like, what, March 7th that I'm filming this, and I still haven't seen the movie, and I still haven't finished the book. I think I began reading this mid-February, and then this far into it. It is a good book. It's not, like, my most favorite book, which I feel bad for saying because I know this is so many people's favorite book of the month or the year, I don't know. The next book I got that I'm also currently reading is The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. I won't go too much into detail with this because I am definitely doing a review on this coming up very soon. I'm, like, almost more than halfway through it. I'm on page 253. So, oh, you guys, this is already in the running. If you guys know about my love for the Mara Dyer series, this is giving it a run for its money. It is so good. So I will be doing a review on this, so I'm not going to go too much into it. Right, the next book I got is Variant by Robison Wells, and it looks like this. I've been seeing this pop up here and there throughout, like, Goodreads and on BookTube and just everywhere, so I've kind of wanted to get my own take on it. It sounds really interesting. Basically, the gist I got from it was this boy gets sent to a school thinking it's, like, his ticket out of life. He has a scholarship, and this school isn't what it seems to be, and they're, from the looks on the cover, they're trying to escape it, and yeah, so it mentions that there's, like, this big secret about the school, and it's really deadly, and so, yeah. I am really anxious to read this because I like books like that. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I don't know, just catches my interest, I guess. Alright, this next book, I am so excited to pick it up. It is The Sky is Everywhere by Jandy Nelson. I really hope I said that right. I am very terrible at trying to pronounce authors' names, if you haven't noticed. So this book is about, it follows the story of this girl, and she's experiencing the death of her older sister, and it's about her trying to move on from that, as well as kind of finding the right guy. It mentions that her older sister's boyfriend starts, like, kind of having an interest in her. And that sounds awful, like, your sister dies and so you're going to move on to the next sister. But it mentions that I think that they're bonding through, like, mourning her. Like, that type of thing, which is kind of understandable. So she's kind of falling for him, but she's also falling for this other guy that has nothing to do with it. So, I don't know. It just sounded really good. I really hope I don't cry in this because I just hate stories that deal with death. It makes me very sad. But I've heard so many good things about this that I just had to pick it up. This past month, almost 2 months, I've been hearing so many good things about this book, so I'm picking it up. And it is Under the Never Sky by Veronica Rossi. Basically, Allison sold me on this from Love X Pink. She read this, I can't remember what month it was in, it was just recent, and ended up loving it, and just her review alone, I'm like, alright, went to Amazon, bought it, and yeah. So I've had this book sitting here for a while, but I haven't read it yet, and I really want to get to reading this because I know the second book just came out too, so yeah, I've heard awesome things, and I can't wait to read it. This is totally, I wasn't, like, ever thinking about buying this series, but Carrie, you definitely sold me on this, and that is Leviathan by Scott Westerfeld. Yes, I've picked it up. You love this series so much, Carrie, that I was just like, you know what, I gotta read this. I have to. You've sold me on it, because after, like, when I first saw it and I'm reading the, like, inside flap, I was kind of, like, interested, but not enough to buy it at the time. And then after seeing your review on the series, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go pick it up. I'm pretty sure you inspired, like, everyone that watched that video to go buy it, so I was gonna join in this curve and buy it as well. Alright, the next book I picked up, I've had my eye on since it came out, and that is Black City by Elizabeth Richards. Oh, look at this cover. I am in love with that cover. It is gorgeous. I think it's about this brutal war happens, and in the aftermath, it, like, divided these, like, two, like, the world is pretty much divided. And there's, like, these two, like, a boy and a girl on each side, and they end up falling for each other, and they shouldn't because they're enemies. So, that's all. I'm pretty sure there's, like, a lot more to the story than just that, but that's what I'm getting out of it. So, yeah. I'm pretty excited to read this. I want to read this one really soon, actually, so, yeah. Alright, this next book, so, funny story. This book, I'll just tell you what it is right now. It's Burn for Burn by Jenny Han and Siobhan Vivian. Wow, that was a mouthful. I was going to Barnes & Noble one day, and I was, like, picking up some of these books, and I saw this on the shelf, and I read the synopsis, and I was like, that sounds really good, but it's just kind of skeptical to get it at first. And then I came home, and that very day or the next day, I ended up seeing, it was either a wrap-up or a review from, I think it's Obsessed Reader, could be wrong, Emily from that channel. She did a review on it, and it sold me, basically, because she had said this was, like, one of her favorite books. So I'm like, okay, if someone's loving it that much, I gotta go buy it, because I was already interested, and it was like that book that you don't buy that you're kind of regretting once you get home, and you're like, I should have bought it, I should have bought it. So I bought it because, yeah. Basically, it revolves around the lives of these three girls who get basically screwed over by these guys, some more serious cases than others, and they're out for revenge, and they're, like, coming up with, like, these schemes to get revenge, something like that. It sounded really good. The next book I have is Wither by Lauren De Stefano. I really want to get to reading this series soon. I think the third book just came out. And let me just say, I adore these covers. They are gorgeous. And I was actually recommended this book, like at the beginning of last year, from a coworker of mine. We were, like, swapping, like, books that we've been reading that we've been loving, and I think at that time I had been reading Mara Dyer, and I suggested that to her, let her borrow it, and she ended up loving it, and she said, you need to go read Wither, and I still had not picked it up for some reason. So, finally did. Finally did. From basically what I can tell, it's about this girl who becomes the wife of this very rich man, and in this society, men have many wives, and she is one of them, and I think, I might be wrong, but it seems like he's kind of different than most guys. I don't know if he's supposed to be, like, nice or what. I don't know. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong, because I'm probably slaughtering this. But she's trying to escape. So that just sounded very intriguing to me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to jump in the curve that is this book, and I'm going to read it. I know people are mixed with it, so we shall see. Alright, the next book I got, this is, I believe, a newer book that just came out. I could be wrong. But it is Level 2 by Lenore Appelhans. I probably slaughtered that as well. And I saw this through Goodreads. A couple of people have read it and reviewed it and have been loving it. So I'm like, alright, I'm going to go give this a shot. I saw the synopsis and it sold me because I haven't read any books that have been like this, really. So it's basically about this girl that dies, and basically there's like a level 2 before heaven or something like that. She gets trapped in it, and it mentions like a guy that's going to find her, so he goes into level 2 to find her. So I don't know if that means he dies or what, because that kind of sounds scary, but it's just an interesting concept that you can get trapped in somewhere else, and they're in levels, and yeah. The next book I got is The Iron King by Julie Kagawa. I have been wanting to read this series, kind of, like, I've been torn with this because I'm not the biggest fan of fairy books. I'll be the first to admit it. It's kind of hard to catch my attention with those. I don't know what it is. I've tried to read, I think it was the Tithe series by Holly Black, and it didn't wow me. I mean, I don't know, maybe it was just how that book was written. Sorry if you guys love that book, but it just didn't do me for the fairy world. So I've been hearing great things about this. Everyone says, you know what, don't read that one, go read this one. So I'm going to give it a shot, and I hope this does it for me with the fairies. And yeah, that sounds like I'm trying to slander them, but I think if they're just written in a certain way, maybe, I don't know what it was. I really don't. If you guys have read Tithe, let me know if you guys enjoyed it. One of my best friends read it, and it's like her favorite book, so it's just really a matter of opinion on that. So this book, I have been itching to get it. I've been waiting for it to come out, and it just barely released, and that is Pivot Point by Cassie West. This is probably going to be another book that I read very soon. And the only reason I hate reading books like right when they come out is you've got to wait for the longest time for the sequel to come out. It's basically about this girl that can see into the future, so she has a decision. She could look in the future and see both outcomes and be able to choose kind of like the right one she wants to do. Like, how cool would that be if you're like, if I go this route, what will happen? And you would know, and then it would just be kind of cool, I think. So, she is forced with the decision of, well, her parents get a divorce. And so she kind of sees ahead her life with her mom and her life with her dad. And in both lives, she meets a guy in each one. So there's kind of like, it sounds like kind of like it's got romance in it, it's got suspense, and it's got like a creepiness aspect to it, I think. So, I don't know, I just know that I've been waiting to read this book for the longest time, and it is finally here, so I hope I get to read this one very soon. The next book I got was Meant to Be by Lauren Morrill, and I'm a total failure with this. I know a lot of people planned to read this last month, and I totally planned on reading this last month, but I never ended up getting to reading it. I didn't get to read that much last month, unfortunately. Basically what I think this one's about is this girl gets paired up on a trip to London with a guy she can't stand, and she ends up receiving this text from like a secret admirer, and the guy offers to help her discover who it is, and I hope it's not as predictable as I'm thinking this is, because that would just be sad. I just really hope it's not, because I'm already predicting the ending of this, and I hate it when I could do that from reading a synopsis, but I've heard great things, so I'm probably wrong, but still giving it a shot anyway. Alright, and the very last, but certainly not least, I got Shatter Me by Tara Mussey. Basically, Heather from Heather's Book Review is responsible for this book. I've been wanting to pick it up for a while now, and I never did. And then when I've seen how much she loves this book, and I've tended to kind of have similar interest in books that she's had, so I'm like, I'll probably end up liking this too. So since this is like her favorite book, and I've heard also really good things about this from everyone that's read it, I'm like, you know what, I've got to read this, and I'm hoping to read it this month or next. So I really want to get to this. Alright, so that was my very large book haul. I'll see you guys in my next video, and just be on the lookout at the end of this month for the next haul that I'm doing, which I haul basically, it looks like about the same amount of books. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye!